Hi fashion lovers, welcome to Miss Fashion YouTube channel where every stitch makes up a nice style. Today we are going to arrange my sewing room as I stitch a trending symmetrical top and a gathered skirt. Let's do it. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment down below. Tell me the challenges you have faced as a fashion designer, what you are about to create, and your journey as a fashion designer. We're going to arrange each and every place to make our room neat, and we are starting with arranging our sewing area, then we arrange our ironing or cutting area, and everything will be neat and nice. For me, my journey as a fashion designer, I have learned different things, and the best thing I can tell you for now is consistency. What you can do to help yourself in growth is making sure that each and every day you have something you are creating, making sure that you have learned something new every day, also correcting the mistakes that you did in your last project, things like that, and you will, within a short period of time, you will know that you have made a great improvement in your project. The other thing is making sure that every day you are checking on things that are trending, because as a fashion designer you have to be creative and still at the same time you have to make sure that you are on your toes by creating something that is trending, like something in the market, making sure that every day, every time you are hand in hand with the trend. Another thing is making sure that even if you are going with the trend, make sure that something that you are creating is unique. Being unique is something great as a fashion designer, and creating something that is you. When people see your product, they don't see that this and this. Like for example, this is fashion and this is not a certain celebrity. And you cannot confuse someone work with your work. But the best step is knowing to create things, even if you will still be inspired by different designers, and making sure that everything that you are doing is neat, even if it's a common thing, because you can also market yourself with basic things like official outfits with even no style, but as long as your work is neat, you will attract more clients. And let's go in and dive to our sewing. We're making a skirt, and we're using a blue satin fabric that is 1.5 meter, and that is for the skirt. And for the top I'm using pink, also 1.5 meter, because I don't have the lining and I'm working from home and I don't have the time to go to the market and buy the fabric, the lining, sorry. So we are going to begin. I started by measuring, taking my measurements, and then I'm going just to cut a gathered skirt, which I folded my fabric into 4, and then I'll cut the waistband, that is 6 inches, so that after I fold it will be 3, the half an inch sewing, so at the end it will be 2.5 inches. And I went ahead to mark, then cut, and After that, we will go ahead and sew our skirt and make sure that you finish the raw edges of your skirt and everything. So, and the other thing that is very important, make sure that in each and every step of stitching, you're going to your ironing area. That is the best and most important thing to make sure that what you're sewing is neat. I went ahead and now I will cut my top. After drawing, I love sketching, so that whenever I am cutting, I will be knowing what I'm doing and also sewing. So I went ahead and marked my bust line, which is 9 inches from my shoulder point. I got the 9 inches by dividing my bust circumference divided by 4. That will give me 9. And then I will go ahead and mark my shoulder. That is 7 inches plus a half an inch, because my shoulder is 14, and that is 14 divided by 2, that is 7. And then I will add half, and then I will lower my shoulder by half an inch. And then I will go ahead and draw my neckline, of which I will be going inside with 5 inches because I want a wider neck, and down by 3 inches, and that's it. And make a very smooth curve at my neck area. We will go ahead and mark our waistline, which my waistline is 15 inches. And then I will add, because I want a symmetrical top, of which one of my sides will be 18 and the other one, it will be lying on point 15. I went ahead and lulled out my waistline, and that's it. We will go ahead and mark the other side of the waist point, which will be longer than the initial waist, which I took as 18 plus 1 inch, of which it is according to your desired length. If you want yours to be shorter, you can make it 16 inches and so on. I went ahead and measured my waist, divided by 4, and then add allowance. And that's it. I'm going to mark my bust divided by 4, add 1.5 inch, and then make a smooth curve on my armhole. And then for the front, you can go inside, you can divide the line from there. You divide by half, then you will go inside by half an inch, and then curve inside to make sure that there is no bulkiness at the armhole, to make sure that the line on the armhole will lay flat on your sleeve area. And that's it. We'll go ahead and open the pattern paper to make sure that the pattern is symmetrical, because this one is a symmetrical design, making sure that on one side it's longer than the other one. So we have to open the pattern to draw the other side of the top, and I mark my right side and my left side. The longer side of the design is on the left side, so I will go ahead and retrace the other side by making dotted lines to transfer the marks to the other side, like that. and then I'll use my ruler to make the lines, and up the armhole I will use my free hand because I don't have a curve. But if you have a curve, you can use your curved ruler. And that's it. We have our transferred marks over there. Now we are going to, I added a paper because my paper was not that enough, because we have an extension at our side. It looks like it's not too fitted on the hip area, so we have to add some allowance. I added 2 inches, and that's it. We're going ahead and cut our pattern paper for us to transfer it to our fabric. That's it. And when you are laying on your fabric, make sure you press your fabric on the wrong side facing. We went ahead and laid up fabric selvage to selvage on the wrong side, right sides facing, like that, because here we are using our fabric also as our lining. But if you have a lining, you don't have to fold. You don't have to fold the pattern. Not the pattern. You don't have to fold the fabric print. Sorry. If you are using a lining, you don't have to fold. Because me, I'm using the fabric also as my lining. I have to fold. But the best advice I can give you to economize on the fabric, and also to make sure that your top is more fitted, use the lining. It's because me, I didn't have time to go to the market, and I also wanted to create something for you guys. So I had to use that for me to have the back pattern. I have to split my pattern to half and add allowance or my zipper allowance, and then cut my pattern like that. I'm adding my allowance on the fabric because I didn't add my allowance on the pattern. I was saving on time because I had to go somewhere, and that's it. Be careful on how you are laying the patterns, because you might make a mistake and find yourself you have the pattern is not aligning to the direction it should. That's why I told you to mark the right and the left of the pattern. And that's it. We went ahead and cut and split our patterns into half, our lining and our back pieces. And then we're going to go ahead to our machine and sew. We're going to begin by making our skirt, where I prefer to make my gathers with a needle and a thread, because when I use my machine, sometimes the thread may cut, or maybe I may pull it and it might cut at the middle. But if it's okay to use also the machine, you can stitch 2 lines by using the stitch length of 5, the end of your stitch regulator, the widest stitch in your machine. That's what you use to make your gathers. And after that, I went ahead to make my brows, and I'll start by stitching the neckline. And my tension was not that okay. Then I was noticing that my machine is looping. But the mistake I had done is that at the spin pole, around the spin pole, there is something that was the thread was sitting on the wrong place, and that is why my tension was too tight and making the stitch to look like the gathers. I went ahead and corrected the mistake and stitched my other side of the neckline, and then I will snip to reduce the bulkiness. I will then stitch my side seam to turn, because I will finish my row just using the lining, and that's it. I'm snipping and turning to the right side. Make sure that you iron at each and every point to make sure that your garment is as neat as possible. I like using spraying water, because sometimes these certain fabrics, velvet, they're sensitive to heat. You might find them burning. That is why I spray water. And make sure that you iron as neat as possible. You take your time to iron your clothes. This will